The following broadcast contains strong opinions, playful antics, and controversial topics causing off-the-rails fun. Chances for being offended are higher than average for sensitive people. Viewer discretion is not advised. Live a little and have some fun.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Coach's Box, episode number 212. Boys, how are we doing this evening? I am loving the group chat. It is blowing up. Fellas, what is the word?
The word is we're doing
here.
well. We're here. We're doing awesome.
Oh,
Man, we're back. We're back, and the internet's back for another week after having to live through Jason and I for an hour and a half. So I fear this is a good week to do this.
How can't you be happy? It's October 30th. Basketball season is right around the corner. Zach McVey's back on the coaching. Chris Miller's at a red school, going to wear red and black. Just not Hergy. But how can't you be excited? Woo,
I'm about to cash in my dad tax tomorrow night.
darn right.
I'm so looking forward to that.
Reese's, here we come.
A little Halloween.
A little.
Oh yeah,
Halloween.
my dad tax from the Halloween candy. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't need.
Zach's back in this game. He knows.
When you're diabetic like me, man, you know, and Halloween's like.
You can get all the.
Is it a
get all the
roulette wheel or
Russians
a
and
Russian
apples they
roulette?
hand out.
Well, you know, I can make the excuse. Oh, my blood sugar's low, babe. Give me some of that candy. You know. Sorry, Weston, you can't eat that.
Got to do what you got to do, man. You know.
I tell you what, I'm fired up. Parent-teacher conferences today from 11 to 7. Yeah, I survived. Had football practice at 9:30. Man, I'm here on the show. I'm here. There's other people that aren't here, but we're here.
We're here.
And hey, at least it isn't just me and Kevin, even though me and Kevin got some ratings. I don't know.
Right.
Oh, we rocked that last week. That was
Damn right we rocked it. You don't need them other people to rock this place.
Hey, I need him to help remember to play the end credits. I forgot to do that last week.
I was going to say, did you hit end? Did you hit stop?
I
or
hit
was it
end and then
scrolling?
go. I may have cussed on air too. So I hit end, and before it officially ended, I think I said the S word.
I never cuss.
No,
Not even a little.
no.
So-
Talk
All right.
about rocking and rolling. How about this World Series now starting to come alive? So literally just before we hopped on the show, you have the Dodgers and the Yankees, and first time since I believe late 70s, you've got Aaron Judge and I think Chisholm. They go back to back home runs here. I mean, Judges was a nice shot, you know, first home run in his career in terms of the World
About
Series.
damn time he did something.
And then
Hey, it's about damn time the Yankees had some fireworks on the field and not in the bleachers.
oh, well, we're going to get to that too. And then Chisholm's home run was an absolute no doubter, and he pimped that thing.
Oh, just see his little pimp at the end.
Yeah.
What are you doing,
Well,
bro?
aren't you teaching that though? It's the Euro step, Jarvis. Aren't you teaching that at?
It
that
was
is
kind of a Euro
basketball?
step, but I ain't teaching that crap. But
You don't- oh man,
I'll tell you this. I text my cousin. He's from California, born there, raised there. I went to a Dodger game with him this summer. It was fun. I texted him and said, hey, That's the Jack Flaherty that all of us Cardinal fans know, bro.
Right.
Serves you right. You keep rubbing that gosh damn Edmund in my face. I'm gonna say, hey, you got some Flaherty. Enjoy that prima donna prick.
Oh my goodness gracious!
It's the truth.
Oh,
Is he not?
Hey,
He is a prick.
I will say this though, watching him, again, he getting shelled the first few times is like,
I love it.
Flaherty. It's Flaherty. You kind of see a little bit of the fading of the Cardinal uniform, and then bang, home run, bang, absolute no doubt bomb into the right field stands, and you're like, oh yeah, never mind, that's okay.
It's kind of funny.
He went total Michael Wacha style on that thing, just giving up home runs at the most inopportune time.
I wasn't very far from my house watching this earlier before I got home, and we were all in there, and Soto's up to bat, right? And he has 24 consecutive games in the playoffs. Might have been World Series, but it was playoffs, I think, of getting on base.
Wow.
And we wouldn't trade Dylan Carlson over his dead body for that guy.
Cold dead hands. That's it.
Cold hands, dead body. We
Yeah.
can only go. What are we doing in St. Louis? Anyway. Sorry.
Hey, how about I didn't even know this, and we probably said it in the show weeks ago, but I tuned in the other night and watching, and the other Yankees win, and guess who's pitching? Another former Cardinal, Weaver. Weaver's pitching for the. And I'm thinking,
he's like a closer for them.
I'm thinking, are we? What are we doing? Like, are they just? What's going on here, guys?
We're everybody else's farm system.
Well, the problem is, gosh,
it's a recognition of talent.
Yes, and my brother Dave hit it that
evaluation is the word I want to use. Evaluation of talent problem.
We don't have an evaluator worth a crap anymore.
Okay, now let's say this though. Okay, let's use the Luke Weaver. Was he that good for us? No. I mean, I don't know. Is he that good for the Yankees? I mean, okay, there are a lot of other moving parts. Look at their lineup, the Yankees lineup. Look at what they're doing. I mean, he was a starter for us, and he's a bullpen for the Yankees.
Well, then that
guys. Go ahead. I was going to say bullpen guys are just dudes that can't start anymore. So
so then that's fine. So at some point, a talent evaluator needs to see that and say he needs to come out of the bullpen. And other teams are finding this out with other players from us. Tommy Edman was a good player here. He's an even better player in a different system and in a different clubhouse.
Well, and with the people he's got surrounding him. But Ron Rhodes is probably on point a little bit with this, and I don't really say that about Ron Rhodes too much. I mean, he's kind of senile nowadays. But anyway, he says we miss Jose Oquendo more than people realize. He might be right on that.
Mm-hmm.
But But Jose Oquendo isn't the one like evaluating talent and just making these decisions. If you looked when Tommy Edman got the MVP of the NL thing, and did you guys see the thing that everyone was posting about? You had Garcia.
Oh yeah, Rosarina,
Rosarina, and there was one other.
Yep.
And then now Tommy Edman.
Mm-hmm.
All MVPs of a pennant race for other teams, not for us, not for the Cardinals where they started.
I just look at it as either way, and again, we could before we go into the fans debacle like Kevin brought up. So now that you have the Dodgers and you have the Yankees, both are, I would imagine, number one and number two in terms of payroll or at least spending. Is this a blueprint going forward? I mean, again, just last year, you had Arizona.
If this is a blueprint, Zach, the Cardinals will never win another World Series.
There are a lot of teams that will never win another World Series. It's not just the Cardinals.
I'm saying it because we're Cardinal fans, Kevin.
I realize that.
I don't give a shit about the other one. I care about the
Naturally.
ones that have the birds on their bat that has been miserable, so miserable that I haven't been to a game unless it's free.
It's the Dodgers and the Yankees are 2 and 3. The Mets
2
are
and
number
3.
1.
Mets, okay.
The
Yeah.
Mets did spit. They almost got
But
there.
I just say they had I would call it a deep playoff run as
Yes.
well. So
Yeah.
I mean, again,
Mets
it's
spent $305 million payroll for the Mets, $303 million payroll for the Yankees.
$305 million.
New York itself had over
What
$600
is it?
million
Wait.
in payroll.
$1
million dollars. Yeah.
The Dodgers, who we thought were spending money hand over fist, are only at $250 million. They're $50 million behind that.
Only 250.
Right. Do you remember when A-Rod got his contract for $250 million and we were like a quarter, you know what I mean? What was $250 million? Like, you've got to be kidding me. We're paying people that much, and now it's 330 plus and the 10-year deal.
Was that 10-year deal? Yeah.
Yes, and $250 million. Now people are getting 330 plus mil and all. I mean, I don't know. There has to be at some point you have to say I'm not paying more than whatever a number is. Like, I don't know.
It's all cyclical. At some point, this will kind of come back down to earth when some owner realizes that either something's going to happen and it's going to kind of cycle back where you're going to have some of this tough times, or the players are going to ask for too much and the owners are going to finally balk. I think you're starting to see that maybe in the NFL a little bit, where they're starting to balk at some of those high, and they're like, no, we'll just cut you and go to somebody else. We'll sign you for the paycheck, but then we're gonna cut you where you're not guaranteed anyway. So I think you're gonna start seeing that at some point.
Well, Kevin, get into this and tell us a little bit about what happened last night in old New York Yankee land with this ball hit towards Mookie Betts and involving some fans.
Well, even before that incident last night, we've had like 2 or 3 incidents just in the playoffs of fan interference during games, correct? Am I right in thinking this? But last night it went a little bit further because it wasn't just fan interference with a ball that was still in play. It was a set of Yankees fans grabbing a player in play and then trying to rip the ball out of the glove. 2 Yankees fans down the right field line. I think Mookie Betts was in foul territory, reaching over the fence to try to catch a foul ball. And 2 of them reached in. I think one grabbed the glove and a wrist, and the other one went for the ball.
Wow, some desperate fans.
Yeah, and they ripped. They was in there clawing at it, trying to rip the ball right out of the glove. And Mookie got understandably a little pissed off about it.
Yeah.
And then they called security. The fans got banned for Game 5. Tickets got refunded. I wouldn't have refunded tickets at that point. I just
thousands of dollars from what I had heard about those tickets.
They should not have got refunded.
No.
Because all they did is say, hey, we got banned. Guess what?
Did they though?
Your ticket. We're just
that's what I'm saying. Their actions were not. That's a minor consequence. Oh, we can't go to Game 5.
Well, actually, and what they were saying in one of the explanations for this was, if we didn't refund their tickets, they still have control of those tickets. They could have sold them to somebody else for a higher sum of money. By the Yankees refunding the tickets, the Yankees now have control of the tickets and can either not sell them or sell them. However, and then the fans who were banned and kicked out do not have it gain any advantage or gain a financial advantage from them still having them.
Yeah.
So I get that part.
Yeah.
I would have left that part out and probably not said they got refunded, but they probably should be banned from a ballpark, from major league ballparks for a while, because this just wasn't some guy trying to reach over to catch a home run.
No, they should be banned for life. I mean, gosh damn, we banned Pete Rose forever. I mean, why not? Come on.
So
I mean, I guess the Cubs wanted to ban that one dude that reached over and cost them.
Bartman.
Steve Bartman. Yeah, Bartman. Hey, how about Bartman having to live in hiding for like 15 years until the Cubs won the World Series, and he couldn't go. And then what? You've got writers, beat writers, or whatever, even ESPN people being like, "Good job, man. Good job." It's like, where is this? Where we're at, like in society now? I mean, oh my god.
This was the one.
Well, hey, exactly. If you looked around it is an election year. Have you looked around at society lately? I mean, we're history teachers, and we don't even want to talk about it because it's so bad.
Right. That's so sad. I had some kids today ask, "Who you voting for?" I'm like, "Buddy, you have to ask me at off hours. Can't ask me in school."
You're a history teacher. They know who you're voting for.
However,
they can figure it out.
The previous 3 years, we could have those discussions, and it was great.
Well, I teach a coding class, and I banned political talk, and I'm giving grade deductions for anybody that does.
Grade deductions. No, you just got to give them a set of Legos and take 2 or 3 away that they don't know about, and then they got to find them.
Shoot, my last 3 weeks at church, my preacher basically said, if you vote Democrat, you're not Christian. So I don't know, man. What do you do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
it is some odd times.
Yes, odd.
Odd, awkward. Just it's weird.
Let's see what segment. This was just a little preview as to what next week's segment 2 and 3 will be.
Oh God.
So
but basketball be started too.
Hey, hold on. No. It'll probably wind up being Kevin and Jim because the rest of us are gonna be like, we're too tired. We're too tired.
Zach, I'll never use that excuse. I've never been too tired to do this show.
Jason just sit on a toilet and do it.
I mean, I even had to institute a bidet at the house. I mean, shoulder surgery. It only kept me out of the episode of the week I had it. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Do what you gotta do.
I mean, when you got your priorities set, Coach's box means something to me. Can't say much about some people, but I mean,
Oh my goodness.
All right.
I'm just doing this. See who can get fired up. Maybe they'll show up after they get fired up.
Okay, back on the rails here.
Back on the rail. Okay.
So
that's why I'm here.
Where this discussion kind of leads me at some point is now a couple of years ago they moved that netting and they extended that netting for safety reasons all the way down.
Obviously not.
Is this going to give a reason to extend that netting even further?
Yeah. I mean, you would think,
some players
and to add on
the PA, the Players Association, may start looking at this. It's like for player safety, fans getting more involved. You're going to have to find a way to keep us safer.
Well, think about this. You're seeing, and again, I know I'm spiderwebbing here, but you've seen the last 2 weeks in college football, you've seen fans, even if it's in the student section, they're throwing crap on the field. Now you see this at Yankee Stadium. You did see it, I think, at Dodger Stadium as well with fan interference. Again, if you go and you take that net and you go all the way around, now, as a player, you're probably thinking, hey, that's great. This is my safety. This is my livelihood here. As a fan, you're like, well, crap, what are we going to do? When are we going to get pregame autographs? When are we going to get postgame autographs? Where are you going to have that? Again, the stuff that we grew up with, we don't get that for our kids. We don't, that the next generation, does that kind of slow the progression of the game or the fans and the legacy? What do you think?
I don't like a net. I don't want a net in the outfield. If I'm sitting in the outfield bleachers, I don't want a net.
Right?
No.
If you're right there, and then what does that do for home run balls? What does that do for home run balls?
No, I don't like it.
Right?
I don't like it, Zach. That sounds that sounds communist.
You know what it sounds like? No. It sounds like you can't have nice things. We got to take it away.
Sounds like you might vote liberal. That's what it
no, I'm talking about. I'm talking about if that's what would happen. Like, what would that do to the game of baseball?
I don't like it.
There's always
the atmosphere is not the same.
For everybody else.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Kevin. I cut you off.
There's always one idiot that ruins it for everybody else, and these types of it's because of everybody. These stadiums, they just want to keep moving seats closer to the field. Every stadium that's built gets a little bit closer and for fan experience and things like that. But at some point, there's trade-offs to doing all of this. And are the MLB the MLBPA, NFLPA, all of these players associations, are they going to be like, okay, that's fine, but what are you doing now that you've seen a player physically grabbed while trying to make a play in a game? What are you going to do to protect these players? And it's either going to be some sort of netting or division, or it's going to be a, hey, we need, back of a better way, to shoot a hostage at some point, and you're just going to have to make an example out of somebody.
Or is it like hockey? You put up the plexiglass? I don't know.
Shut up.
I don't know.
No, stupid.
We don't want it either, because I want the outfit. I want those foul balls. I want those things to do. But it's like, if you're going to have some idiots doing what they're doing, and this is just the opening, there will be others. There have been others.
I know people are probably watching the World Series, but Juan Soto extended that streak to 25 consecutive playoff games. He's gotten on both at bats so far tonight. And then Judge is up with 2 on right now. So,
I mean, you talk about swing of, a couple short days here. They were saying Yankees are left for dead. This is a horrible series. Yankees are showing life now. They win it. Now it's 3-2. It's
anything's possible, man. When you have a stacked lineup, his Judge's exit velocity on his home run, 108.9.
Yeah.
Oh, you hit that one. Warning track power. Look like Chris Miller batting.
What, warning track in foul territory?
Foul back behind the plate.
Yeah. I don't. It's that,
guys. I don't even know what our agenda is. I mean, we've just been spouting off stuff here.
Right?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what
is
we're
this
doing.
another no agenda show?
Pretty much, I think so. I think that's kind of what we're doing.
Zach's here, so it's better organized.
I know. I figured we'd have an agenda. What the hell you been doing, Zach?
Oh my! Hey, busy with everything. Dude, we actually started this week, so we started basketball this week.
Do you know? Well, yeah, you're doing middle school. You guys started. Good for you. How many did you guys have out?
So we actually had 8th grade wise. I think we kept everybody. We had 12 come out, and then 7th grade, I think we had 11 or 12 also. So definitely some good numbers compared to past seasons and all that. And
that's
it's exciting. I mean, it's different. And there's again the give and the take, but it's fun seeing the younger guys that they get it and they're ready to go.
I cannot wait.
You ain't going to any junior high game.
Yeah, I do. I went to them last year, dude. I'm highly involved in my program, sir. Well, last year, one of the best games I saw all year was the junior high Crystal girls that were playing with 3 players against the R7 girls with 5. So that was at our place. I left our championship game at Bruce Thomas to go watch that. But anyway, that's awesome. We had, I think we kept 13 on the 7th grade and 12 on the 8th grade. So we have 25 down at the junior high. And I mean, I'm happy about that. And I think I'll probably have close to 40 coming out for 9 through 12 at the high school. And I'm hoping to keep at least around, I mean, my goal is to keep around 30 and 10 a team and a couple maybe that'll be tweeners, but
Kevin, that sounds like large school problems to me.
No, it's not. That's the most kids we've had out. It'll be a lot of kids, but we're not a large school. We're 500 men.
Oh, yeah.
Well, compared to the other small schools, that's a large school.
We kicked out one of the smallest schools, so screw that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Neither do I.
Had to make it an even number, 5 and 5, I think.
Yeah, we just had to get rid of one.
Just in the private schools we call that symmetrical.
There you go. Symmetry.
Symmetry. That's what we're looking for in the I-55 conference. Whatever.
Synergy.
I know what they're calling it. Quad conference, this conference, that conference.
It's still the JCAA for basketball.
Everything
Well,
else.
But
Now, hold on, time out,
I-
Kevin. It's because because you are one of the resident historians. When did it change from the JCC to the JCAA? I've always it's known as the JCC.
it was the JCC in the 90s
Yeah.
through probably the early 2000s
Okay,
when they
that's
got into
my
a
era.
kick. When they got into a kick of including the activities inside the athletic director. So they went from being athletic directors to activities directors.
Okay.
And there was a big kick about including band and things like that in all of these types of endeavors. So I was
Okay.
probably anywhere from 2001 to 2005, I would say.
Well, that was college years, so that makes sense. All right.
Yeah. That would be my best guesstimate. So
look at Rhodes saying larger school. We expect 12 players to try out Monday, 9 through 12. So old
sounds
Coach Rhodes
sounds
here,
like maybe they don't like the coach. I don't know.
maybe I don't know. Put away the trash bags.
Trash
I don't
bag
know.
uniforms probably turned some players away. Wait, what are we going out in warm-ups for, Coach? Our uniforms, and here's some hefties.
Hefty.
Hey, if you're lucky, you might get a Glad with Sinjin.
With the sense.
The cinch sack to go around the waist.
Oh my
Oh, we're gonna get into
goodness.
the.
Yeah.
He's gonna leave.
Coach,
the
I can't
comments.
do layups. Can't do layups. You didn't cut the armholes in the trash bag.
Right,
You gotta cut
right.
the armholes in.
Hey, if I didn't give you armholes, you're not shooting. That's okay. You just play defense.
Hey, if you got armholes, that means you can't sweat as much. So just
No, I can't say, Coach Rhodes. I don't know how many girls are going to come out. I do know our girls are having a little some type of trivia night this Saturday at the old AmVets, but I don't know how many we'll have out girls wise. But man, 9 through 12, that's not a lot of kids. Good luck with that, Ron Rhodes.
Well,
Hey, Ron Rhodes, Vinny Coach is going to get the best out of them girls. Well,
Yeah,
whatever.
they'll end up winning a state title with those 12 girls somehow.
What he failed to
Yeah.
mention was two or three were D1, and another 2 or 3 were going to be
one of the
NAIA
one of the
D1s.
foreign
Hey, I don't know. I don't know if
foreign
he's living
exchange
in those.
student from Latvia.
Hey, I don't know if he's living in a district that has that many mailboxes anymore, but
It's
what do you
apartment
do?
complexes now, right? That's the easy fix. It's all
Duplexes.
apartments. Duplexes.
Hey, I know. Deering, they called me Justin on the MBCA thing.
They fix that later though. But
It was kind of funny. They had the picture said Jason Jarvis, but then they said welcome Justin Jarvis, and I've gotten a lot of crap from that today.
It's the alter ego.
But they went back and corrected it on Facebook anyway. I don't know about Twitter. I don't care. Whatever. It is what it is, man.
Hey.
well, I don't know what our numbers look like for what Pius's would be next week. I've been kind of out of touch with that. But if our volleyball team's still playing, so there'll be a couple of girls still involved in that next week, and practices will be a little bit because we got the one gym, you got the volleyball team. If they win on Saturday against Farmington, they'll play through next week with the semifinals and championships being Wednesday and Thursday. So that'll mess up practice schedules and things like that. But
I'm not gonna lie to you, Kevin. I miss the days where there was some days off in between these sports, man.
Right.
I'm going. We're going to play Friday, and I mean we're playing St. John. It would take a lot for us to defeat them, right? I mean, I'm not saying we can't, but we could. And then basketball starts Monday. There are no days off anymore, man. It sucks. It sucks for kids, and when you're at a smaller school like Herky, and you have to coach multiple sports, it's a lot for coaches and players.
Well, it was when I coached basketball years and years and years ago now.
You were probably the one that ran it up on me all the time. Go ahead.
I don't know about that. I
I
was
was
just a
going to
JV
punch
coach.
Portel. I'll tell that story later, but go ahead.
But I got lucky because with softball we're done mid October, and I always got 2 weeks off to kind of recharge and do some things, and that's nice. But the boys sports really are the ones that always kind of get screwed at this, because soccer goes really long and football goes really long, and there's no breaks.
Kevin, when March rolls around, Coach Jarvis here is done. Like, I'm like done. Like, I want to be done. Like, done for the year, done. Because
you got depends on how many days you have saved up.
Well, I mean, seriously, you go and you do a football season, and everybody who's ever coached football knows, especially if you coach high school football, knows that starts in June, and that don't end until almost November, right? And then basketball starts in November, and that don't end a lot of times until March. Dude, that's a lot. From June to the following March is a long time.
They've made some of these seasons are insanely way too long. And I'll even say it, I kind of understand that to a point, because most of the time in soccer, my softball camp's normally the first week of summer. So I will have the whole soccer season. I'll go all the way through from the beginning of March till the end of May. And then we lose, if we're last games on a Friday or a Saturday, it turns around and very next Monday, my softball camp starts, and I got softball stuff all summer into that. So I 100% get that. I've been lucky to not have to do that when I coached a winter sport from softball to basketball, because there's always a couple of weeks. But I completely understand what you were talking about.
Well, like volleyball for our girls just got over last week, last week. They should have won their district, but that's another story. But anyway, it got over last week, and so the girls get a whole week, this whole week, and the boys don't.
Now, okay, let me ask you this, just food for thought and trying to play the other side of the coin. And like you said, Jarvis, we're gonna stir it up. Now, in your opinion, since you guys are head coaches, would you rather give them that week off, and then that's a week of downtime for those kids that might be on the fence to say, I don't think I want to come out for the next season? Or you just say, you just go right into it. Just go right into it. And then that way there is no downtime. They don't have to sit and think about it.
Hey, let's hold that answer. Think about that answer. Let's go to our first break, because we're right at about that time to do that. When we come back, we'll answer all those
Jim,
questions. How's that
we got it.
Sounds good.
Don't go there. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, we'll be right back.
I'm a bee, and I bumbled my way into your car. Buzz. But this hive isn't big enough for the both of us. Boo! Oh, wow, what a buzzkill. And if you don't have the right auto insurance coverage, paying for this could really sting. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
It's Between Takes with Dyken and Dave Mars.
Good. All right, next set up.
Hey, Dave, we got another question about energy savings. And this is a good one.
Yeah, efficiency is so important.
Didn't you just talk with Dyken about this?
They said energy efficiency is the key to a happy marriage. She gets the temperature, I get the savings.
Good to know. I'll tell them to check with their local Dyken dealer.
All right, back to one.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
You need new entertainment? You need full-length content? You need the Real Fresh channel. Hey, I'm Hal Fresh from the Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today on YouTube. We have new content. We are a network of podcasters putting out new stuff every single day. whether you need sports, pro or college, whether you need comedies, whether you need pop culture, whether you need wrestling. We've got so much content on there. Gaming. Check it out. Live, not live. We've got it all. The Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Coach's Box. I think we're at segment number 2 now. And, I apologize for some people not being here. Jim and Chris really did have some things that they had to take care of, and they couldn't be here. And as much as I may poke fun at them or joke about them not being here, I mean, we're all used to Jim not being here. But, I mean, I really they had some things, I guess, they had to do. So anyway, I'm enjoying watching this World Series. I haven't got to watch much of it, but there's a lot of life going on around here. But anyway, we're still here, episode 212, and I mean, there's people that still watch. I mean, I can't believe it, but they do.
Yeah. Yeah,
might not have much to do with Kevin.
That's what it is,
McVey, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah, well, Jarvis, your television.
Hey, we've said you carry the show, right?
I mean, look at this,
right?
Television face,
yeah,
face for TV, right?
Definitely,
yeah.
Jason, you definitely have a face for mid-range to small market YouTube podcast.
I was thinking more like radio, but I got my Shakespeare's cup with my Diet Coke, and we're good.
The voice for silent movies. Got it.
There you go. I'm hoping to get it. I'm hoping to get it.
What are we going to next?
Well, we had said.
A question to us.
I posed a question to you, head coaches, and so my thought is: Would you rather? What's better, having that week off, okay, in between seasons, or not have a week off in between seasons? And I said the other side of the coin was if you give the kids a week off, then what are you fearful about? They get comfortable, they get a little lazy, they get like, you know what? I don't know if I want to play this next sport. I might want some downtime. This whole going home at 3:00 and hanging out with my friends and doing this and doing that.
I'd like to have the week off, and if somebody decides that they want to stay at home, I probably didn't need them anyway. That's the way I look at it. And stay at home then, bro. I think the kids that you need are going to be there. And I think that sometimes we put these kids through a lot and expect a lot, and it would be nice to have some time off, but you're going to have a lot of people they're not going to want that. I mean, I've said this since I've been a head basketball coach. Why not start basketball in December, bro? Why we got to November, really? I mean, we could maybe start practice a couple weeks after football's over. Then by December, we're ready to play some basketball. But Then you got the realists. Well, we got Thanksgiving tournaments. We got Thanksgiving tournaments.
What,
We can't,
2 of them?
We've had these
2 of them, 3 of them.
This Thanksgiving tournament's been here for 100 years. We can't do that. And so, I mean, you can talk to many ADs, and they will say you could cut back the basketball season a little bit, or like me and Chris have talked about this a lot. Late in the season, dude, it comes January, I can play 3 games a week. You know what I'm saying? Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
Instead of 2. I mean, you get to a point where, I mean, do I really need to practice that much?
Mm-hmm.
Are you teaching or installing that much late in the year that you couldn't do based on if you set your practices up correctly do it once or twice in a week, maybe, and then be done with it? For 1 week, give them the week off. It's when it starts to get to be 2 or 3 weeks off between seasons. That's where you might get a little bit more worried about that comfortableness. But the way that kids are wired these days, having a mental break, I think, is massive for a lot of these kids, especially for athletes that are always, because a lot of times some of your really good athletes, the one that you really count on, are also kids that are really high stress in the classrooms as well. And you want to be able to give them a break to do some of those things. Even during the season, I've always been a big fan of, there are days where I'm going to give them a day off in the week, if I can, just to kind of help with the mental break of doing some of these things. If we don't absolutely need the practice and we don't have a game, you can take the afternoon off. Everybody can use that a little bit.
Hey, watch out, Yankees. Here come the Dodgers. 5-3.
I don't like when it gets the longer break, that's fine. But for a week off in between seasons, give them the week off. Let them recharge their batteries and be ready to go come that first day.
It's such a vicious cycle because, I mean, again, we all know now it's not an excuse, and we're not begging here, but we all understand the culture of teaching and coaching, and that's tied to livelihoods. And so it has just morphed into, well, you got to get these kids. You got to get these kids because the kids hopefully get you wins, and wins, you get to keep your job, and then you keep your job and you get money, and then you take care of your family and you have to pay your bills, and you're not moving, you're not doing this, that, and the other. And so it is this kind of this vicious cycle that I think in our lifetime is perpetuated to this extent. Just again, which just absolutely stinks for the kids, because it's like, you know what, go have fun, make your memories, be a part of all that stuff. If you want to play, great. If you don't want to play, like Jarvis, you said, probably didn't need you anyway. But the reality is, in a lot of small schools, that one player could be the difference between winning and losing 2, 3, 4 games. And that could be the difference between a 500 record and a winning season. That could be the difference between you keeping your job or not. And that's just the unfortunate reality sometimes.
I mean, Kyle Bohr says I would want them missing the first couple weeks. That would mean they just made a good playoff run in a previous sport. What do you guys think about that take? I can tell you what I think about that take. It's going to be not positive. So,
well, I'm going to say in some instances, if it's the right set of kids, and some winning can kind of be contagious and breed into other winning. It might look a little ugly.
Totally agree, Kevin. If it's the right set of kids, yes, sir. Dude, it's a tie. It is a tie ball game, folks. Man, that flipped real quick.
Well, we've seen it a lot, and I've seen it in my lifetime where you have some success in the fall with some sports, and then it kind of rolls right into the winter with some sports, and then rolls into spring with some sports, and that can go a long way to. Now, do the beginning of those seasons in the winter and the spring look a little ugly at times because maybe they haven't been fine-tuned into doing some of the things with their teams, like they're a couple of weeks late into practice, but man, when you just kind of get that winning mentality going and you've had a good long playoff run and you've played well, you kind of take that into that next year to do that next season to be able to
Yeah,
kind of continue that.
I'm not gonna lie, Kevin. I agree with what you're saying. I judge like the beginning of a school year sometimes. If your football team is doing well, a lot of times that school year at the beginning, it's pretty smooth. Like good atmosphere, good kids are good, everything's good. I've experienced a bad football season this year, right? We've won one gosh damn game. But the beginning of school has been good. So it's been like, and I'm not used to that. Usually when you have when your football team is bad, that kind of sets the tone for some schools.
Just even the culture. I mean, Jarvis, go back to basically 20 plus years ago. You know, I remember 7 at Crystal and then 7 for you and 7 for others when you go back to that football run that you guys had, and then think about those teams that you had, and then look at what that did into basketball, both the guys and the girls, and then you go into the baseball runs that they had. I mean, it's a culture. You lived it. You can explain it a little bit better than I can.
I still tell Zach, I still tell people all the time, my best years of teaching and coaching were the 10 years I was at Crystal. 10 years I was at Crystal. My first year was awful. We got our ass kicked. The next year, I got moved to D coordinator of the football team. And then I ended up, my first year there, I didn't coach girls basketball. The second year I did. We were dominant in every sport, not just one. It was all of them. And it carried over. I mean, those, like my brother just posted, he said, we were in the playoffs in football all 4 of my years and went right into basketball with no problems. And they did. I remember going to those games, watching my brother play. Valley, here's a good example. Valley would be in that tournament at Crystal, walk off the freaking football field, have one day of practice, and come to the Crystal City tournament and win a couple games. I mean, winning is contagious. I'm a football coach. I want my football team to win. It's been rough this year. I mean, we're struggling. And I don't want that to carry over. And it's hard at a school. A lot of schools, man, the school year starts when that your football team's going well, school year's going well. Now, and this year, luckily, it hasn't really affected our school year. I think our school year has been really good, even though we haven't won many football games. But sometimes, some years, that it carries over to the next sport. I still like time off. I wish Michigan could figure it out so we have some time off between football and basketball.
I wonder if there's other states that have found a way to do that where they balance that time between seasons, or the starting and ending, or the transition between seasons. I wonder if other states have found a way to balance that and get that right, or if every state is having these issues because everybody wants to get more games in and things like that. Like, what's the problem and I would say this, what's the problem in basketball cutting 2 weeks out of the regular season, and instead of, what do you guys have, 26 games you can play? What if you were to say 20 games during your regular season and have 2 less weeks
of
regular season calendar?
Because I'm going to say right off the bat, what about weather? Because now you cut 6 games off just because you wanted your 2 weeks, and then we get a bad snowstorm at some point, or ice. That one year, I remember being out of Grandview, we had like 2.5, 3 weeks straight off, and so you get a bad winter, and now you're out another 6, 7 games, and then here you are, and you've got 12 games going into postseason. Now, fall athletics, they don't have that problem. I know the same thing can be said about the spring. Because I remember one year at Grandview, we only had 14 baseball games. And again, that you're kind of beholden to the weather. But I think that's probably what people would say is, why would you want to cut off that early part of the year when you, at least in our state, you're probably not going to have snow outs or ice, ice storms of that nature.
Oh my gosh, we've been lucky this year. I mean, really, with football,
it's 80 degrees this week.
I know this week's been perfect for practice. I mean, yeah.
But
okay,
in your point, Kevin, I totally agree about cutting some time off. Again, I think like Jarvis had said, why can't you start in December? And then, again, you're going to go through March anyway. I just don't understand, which it goes back to AAU and select and this, that, and the other, because you're going to lose spring athletes. Why can't you bump spring back? Because that makes sense. Why do you? Okay, I went and played college baseball in ice and in snowstorms up in Mount Mercy in Iowa. I went and played in snowstorms at Westminster at Valentine's Day. Like, there's no reason to have these spring sports start so early and then have these contests where everybody is just miserable. Like, bump it back 2 weeks. Yeah, you might be out of school, but that's also fun. And that's part of the experience about, like, hey, I'm out of school, but I still get to play. I get to do an activity.
I've always thought that too, Zach. I mean, I know the spring sports can kind of the shaft, but why not play a couple weeks after school's over? I mean, you're telling me 2 or 3 weeks after school's over is gonna it's because you have a Legion, you have all this other bullshit in the summer, and that's why money.
Well, there and that would be my thing, and we've already seen in some instances in some sports kids foregoing their high school seasons in order to play with their select and travel club teams.
No, it drives me absolutely insane.
And because they're the ones that have been, sold that's how you get to the college looks and through that direction. And, playing for your community is not as important as it used to be anymore. That, it may be, and in some instances that it's a downgrade in level of play. And some parents may read in it was like, well, let's see, you could either play with your club team all summer and get looks by all these colleges, and how that thing is sold versus playing in a couple of regular season games against couple of local schools and going from there. That's where I think that argument would that's where that argument would be. And not just the spring, it would be that same way in other seasons as well.
And that's happened even at the lower levels, because doing junior high baseball for a few years, I know after leaving that they're talking to buddies and like, how are things going? And they said literally exactly what you said, Kevin. Now we've got a group of parents that said we can go get 50 baseball games doing select stuff and playing on turf, as opposed to playing 8 junior high games that probably half of them are going to get rained out. So we might as well just go get more bang for our buck and go do select ball. It's like, okay. I mean, again, it's when you're the parent, you get to make the decision. And again, both sides of the argument make sense. So that's just kind of where we're at right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I wish there was a good argument to this. I maybe you shorten all 3 seasons by 1 week, just to give yourself a chance. It's like in softball, we can play like 36 games or something like that. I was like, there's no way in the world no one should ever play 36 games in that short softball season that we have.
That's just regular season. That's not even postseason.
That's just regular season.
And that's what I don't get.
Like 7 weeks worth of games. That's like 7 or 8 weeks worth of games. That's like 45 days that you can play games, and you can play 36 of them if you got everything in. A lot of them are tournaments where you get 2 or 3 on a weekend or whatever, but it's like, that's just absurd. It's not it's just not a good thing health-wise to be playing that much. Now you got 8 pitchers on your team, you can probably get by with that. I've never had that, so I don't know what that feels like.
Right. 8 throwers,
so
but maybe not pitchers, right?
Not what throw it would be me in a wig would be one of them. So
what about, I mean,
but
Jason, what do you think from football having 15, you're going to have 15 games? Is that what it is? If you go all the way through the playoffs, I mean, that's a college schedule. Like if we're going to sit here and talk about, the safety of the kid and concussions and all the stuff that we've talked about that we've heard for years, again, is that
They're
good?
spread out enough now, though. I don't think it's. I mean, it used to be like shorter. Like you'd play on a Wednesday, then you'd play on a Friday. It's not like that anymore.
Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday type of setup.
And now it's a week, and so I don't think that's a bad thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well. All right.
Because I don't know that it's 15 anymore. I think it's 9, 12. Well, maybe it is 15. Yeah, it is 15 games. So,
and I know that's only affecting two schools in the class, but again, I mean, you're going to have half of or close to half of however many.
Well, have you seen the like Class 1 schedule? I mean, it's weird.
And the travel that comes with some of that. When you get into those later ones, I know firsthand from this fall, travel is difficult and it's hard on these high school kids,
especially if they're wanting to maintain their grades.
Having to spend 5 hours on a bus in a week trying to get to games, if not more, 6 hours. I think one week we spent 8.5 hours on a bus trying to get to games. And I've got good kids that work really hard on their classes. It was tough on them to do that. And so that's why I was always big on giving extra days off, because they deserved it just for that reason in a lot of instances.
Well, and that's the thing with softball. Okay, now this would seem odd because it's slightly different, but if you take football out of the equation just because it doesn't work this way, but if you did softball, if you did basketball, if you did baseball, and you said, you know what, let's do 2, 3, 4 games on a Saturday, and then you only maybe have one game during the week, and then you practice the other time. So you're going to take your entire Saturday, but you might get 3 contests or 4 contests in, and then you only have one game during the week. So you really essentially during the week, you only have one day of travel. And then that other time, like, Kevin, like you said, if, hey, we're going to take a day off for mental health or whatever, for homework. What's your idea on that? I mean, I don't see it as a bad thing. I mean, if literally that's kind of the model at AAU, and you can play 3-4 games on a day, if for basketball and you do that for what's wrong with that?
I don't think that that's such a bad idea in a lot of instances. I mean, even at the college level, college softball is set up to be maybe a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. With a conference opponent, they'll play a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series, a game each day, and then they'll have a non-con at like Wednesday, where they play a doubleheader against a local non-conference team. So you get those games in during the week, and I think that that's a very good model to have if you're not having to kind of go all over the place. But you kind of have to get out of this mindset of saying that you've got to play 30 some odd games in a season when you don't really. We played 22 this year. I think we had 26 total scheduled. 4 got rained out, but they've gotten away from that, even in doing that though, like in soccer. Soccer, travel soccer is now, you might play a Friday, Sunday with the rest day and a tournament in between. They've kind of gotten maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but they don't do that a whole lot. But even soccer wise, even we've looked at our schedule and tried to pare it down to maybe only playing 2 games a week, maybe 3, just for rest, because it's not good to play 3 and 4 games in a week for those types of things. I don't care what club teams are doing. It's just not safe on the bodies to be doing that.
Yeah.
So,
does that alleviate? Does that help the official shortage? If it's like, hey,
because they're not getting worn out by having to, having games every day and have to officiate. You may get to spread some of those guys out, and they might get 2 or 3 days off during the week from officiating that they wouldn't normally get otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd be curious if, we've got officials that watch the show, or at least have in the past. I'd be curious what their opinion is. If it's like, hey, if you got, again, I'm just thinking basketball, and you had 3-4 games between multiple, again, like you have the shootouts on Saturdays that, whether Jeffco used to have the shootout or Mac has a shootout, but like you're gonna basically do a round robin between 3 or 4 schools. You're gonna play a boatload of games that day. If you had, hey, you know what, we've got 3 crews now, and then as an official, now you've got basically your week off. You're not out every night, and then maybe the guys aren't calling you saying, hey, we need you every night. I don't know. Again, we're going to get at this point where if there is this official shortage, we're going to have to think outside the box. And I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea, bad idea, but it's definitely something something different.
Part of that future solution to this official shortage is part of the solution to the official shortage is to have less games scheduled.
That would help.
And I think you're going to see, you might see baseball and softball go from having 36 games max to a 30 game max type of thing, or basketball going from 26 to 24, just because then there's or something along those lines where maybe you get more out of less in that type of situation.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, it's about that time. It looks like we may need to take our second break of the night. When we come back,
Jarvis was quiet there. I don't know if he was sleeping or what. He never
really
said much.
No, I was on my phone.
We're gonna get him. We're gonna get him all fired up here in a minute. Next segment, we're probably gonna talk some Mizzou football, maybe some Mizzou basketball as their season gets started. But we'll get into that as we get back from this break.
All right, break it down.
Hold on, I got to find the right one. There it is.
I'm a bee, and I bumbled my way into your car. Buzz. But this hive isn't big enough for the both of us. Boo! Oh, wow, what a buzzkill. And if you don't have the right auto insurance coverage, paying for this could really sting. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
It's Between Takes with Daikin and Dave Mars.
Cut. All right, next setup.
Hey, Dave, we got another question about energy savings. And this is a good one.
Yeah, efficiency is so important.
Didn't you just talk with Daikin about this?
They said energy efficiency is the key to a happy marriage. She gets the temperature, I get the savings.
Good to know. I'll tell them to check with their local Daikin dealer.
All right, back to one.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
You need new entertainment. You need full-length content. You need the Real Fresh channel. Hey, I'm Health Fresh from the Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today on YouTube. We have new content. We are a network of podcasters putting out new stuff every single day. Whether you need sports, pro or college, whether you need comedies, whether you need pop culture, whether you need wrestling, we've got so much content on there. Gaming, check it out. Live, not live, we've got it all. The Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today.
We're back, and we have
No,
a new addition. He doesn't look happy.
Hey, look who showed up!
Oh yeah, look, I'm freaking here.
Man, what else?
It is good to see you, Chris.
Yeah,
It's
good
great.
times.
Great to see you.
Yeah.
I can't tell if this is the meds or not.
Oh, I'm perfectly fine. Yep.
Well, you got here just in time to talk a little Mizzou football.
Oh, well, that's great. Something else that's disappointing.
Something else is disappointing. They are. Hey,
They're a
Kevin,
freaking joke.
Kevin,
They're a
Kevin,
joke. They're a
do
joke.
you remember old Jarvis down in that corner there saying, they're gonna be 12-0. They're gonna be 12-0, number one. And I'm like, hold on. I'm the hashtag realist, and I said, I don't know about A&M. I don't know about Bama. I don't know about Oklahoma.
No. Hey, Zach, I am the wrong person to talk about that when you talk about wins.
Thank you, Kevin.
As a fan, I am still hashtag 91 wins. I am with Jarvis on this one. I am a Mizzou fan, and I am never, as a Mizzou fan, want to say they're going to lose. So for all I care, Mizzou will win out the rest of their games. I don't care if Gomer Pyle is their quarterback at this point. He looks like Gomer Pyle when he plays sometimes. But
that's the question. Who's going to be the quarterback?
Could they have open tryouts? Is it too late to try out?
What's the guy from Necessary Roughness, Scott Bakula? Can he play quarterback at this point? At this point, I just say put Burden in the Wildcat.
Right? Does Chase Daniels? Does he have any eligibility left?
Hey, Ken Niumatalolo from Navy isn't in, so he doesn't have a job right now. So bring him in this week. Put Burden in the triple option at the quarterback position and just go to town on it.
Right?
I don't know how you could be at SEC school and think that you're hot shit and you ain't got somebody who's a backup quarterback. That Pine kid, he sucked. He freaking sucked. What did he throw? 3 picks?
Yeah.
He needs a damn colored wheel is what he needs. Know which damn jersey to throw the ball to. He's a piece of shit. He sucks. Freaking embarrassment.
I am so happy Chris Miller showed up.
Oh yeah.
And then they go,
because I'm such a big wuss. Shut up, Jason. Hey,
and then
that Pine kid, he freaking sucked. Okay, that was an embarrassment of all embarrassments for a team. They shouldn't even be in the top 25. All right, I had high hopes. I said that they'd have 1-0 losses, whatever. I was wrong. Been wrong before. That's why I'm divorced. And you know what? I'm telling you right now, it's about freaking ignorant. I don't know what Drink's sitting there pissed off about referees for. You know what? How about this? They ain't making his guys not throw the ball to the wrong damn team. He didn't go out and recruit. He does a great job recruiting. How about this? What happens if your quarterback gets hurt? Okay, that was great. We get this kid. What's he ever done? Was he some kind of big shot recruit?
He had a really good year at Notre Dame.
Oh, that's great. What is he, some 7th year COVID clown?
He's not.
Is he Rudy? I mean, what is he? I don't get it. He sucked. I've seen plenty of other guys come off the bench for other programs that can do something. That kid looked like he was. I don't even know what to do right now. Football. What's that? Hell, put Bird in the Wildcat. It's a better option. How about find somebody on your team that can actually throw the ball, knows the plays, knows what colors actually are the colors of your team.
Well,
it was ridiculous.
They went to the is it DJ Blood, I think is the third string quarterback. He took his first snap, he turned to the right, and the running back wasn't there and just had to try to tuck it and fall for 2 yards. And then they pulled him out right after that. They didn't even give him a second chance to try to get something right. But you had to know that's the biggest disappointment is that's the second time this year that they have looked woefully unprepared for what is coming in front of them. Because they did not look prepared against A&M defensively for what A&M was going to do.
And that was after a bye week.
And then knowing may not play, it looked like Pine hadn't taken a snap in 3 years, which he really hasn't. They didn't prep him in practice. It looked like he didn't do anything.
Well, look, I give Cook the credit for trying to go, but if you can't go, you can't go. And as a coaching staff, I think you should have some kind of expectation of, man, we ought to have a number 2 guy ready. Instead, no, we're just going to go ahead and roll the dice and see what happens. It's only like we're playing at Alabama.
Hashtag all in, baby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was absolute joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. I turned it on anything else. I would have watched RuPaul before I would watch the rest of that damn game. I shut it off.
I mean, would you have watched paint dry? Would you have rather painted a room?
No, I would rather paint a room. I'd have watched paint. I'm telling you right now, painkillers aside, I was like, this is a trip. This is terrible. I mean, this is absolute joke. You know what? They shouldn't even be ranked. They shouldn't be ranked. They aren't any better. They lucked out and beat Vanderbilt. All right. Same old Mizzou crap. You know, go ahead and drink. Let's go to Florida. You know, do all your crap that you need to do, or go somewhere else, because apparently we can't go and do the whole job. You know, you got to recruit the positions, and you got to coach them up. They are you said right, woefully unprepared. It was an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment as a damn Missourian and a Mizzou fan of how they played and how they've come out in those 2 losses, and they looked like they never played before. So two programs, one of them that wasn't A&M's not the cream of the crop in the SEC. Alabama is a blue blood SEC school, and we look like the little kid trying to play dodgeball with the high schoolers. Game over.
I thought the Missouri defense. I thought the Mizzou defense played well for a while. It's just
for a while
again.
Well, they were on the field the whole game.
Again, the point is, and Jason, you can speak on this. When you know your offense is so awful, and you're like, you have to pitch a shutout to even maybe come close to winning the game, like that just, you get so much pressure on you, and then
sounds like
again they score.
But go ahead.
Right, and then it snowballs, and then again you're just like, well, crap, and it just got away from you. The defense I thought looked good for a while.
Well, as you know, we're not complaining about the defense here. We're complaining about the offense and the coaching staff.
Defense was good for the first half. You're on the field for however freaking long.
For the whole first half, basically.
And then on top of that, I mean, you're in bad field position because we're throwing the ball to the other team. Well, that doesn't help.
Yeah, and as Mizzou fans, we've seen some really bad football over the years. I think the part that gets us most is there were some really high hopes for this team, and if they're still sitting at 6-2, but with close losses where they weren't embarrassed, but they were just flat embarrassed, and in some of those wins, they didn't look very good either. They were lucky to get out of them. Well,
Auburn,
UMass, they looked okay. But Auburn, BC, and Vanderbilt,
College,
they did not look very good.
Right.
They are not passing the eye test for a 6-2 team.
No.
They'll be in the who gives a shit bowl.
That's Frito-Lay. That's the Frito-Lay who gives a crap bowl.
I mean, that's
what. Did Jarvis have to go pee or something? Where's he at?
He's on a bidet.
Jump on here.
Again,
he's got to go to the bathroom.
But again, when you had all the dudes that got drafted on the defense, you got a new D coordinator. The dude that ran your defense goes to LSU. LSU's having a pretty darn good year now. They lose the first game again, and then they fly under the radar, and now they're playing pretty well. And it's like, I just don't know if the moment was too big for Mizzou, the expectations was too much, or if it was just a matter of, you know what, the guys who we thought they were just aren't as good.
Smoke and mirrors. Well, I've been really happy with the way the defense has played in a lot of instances. I think they've had to play on the field too much. I think the new defensive coordinator has done a really good job. I'm really disappointed in the lack of growth and creativity from the offensive coordinator who we thought we might lose last year as a head coach somewhere.
He can go.
Now I'm kind of wishing he would have gone somewhere.
Yeah, he can go to the house.
I just don't understand how you not get a guy that's supposed to be a lottery draft pick, a guy that, is like this premier 5-star player in your area that you got to lock down the borders, and you get him what, 2 touches, 3 touches? Like how are you not working him in unless he's hurt? And then why are you not screaming from the rafters like, hey, he's hurt, he's banged up, we're going to limit him?
How about this? If I'm Luther Burden, I go somewhere else.
I'm
out of here.
Yeah, it's called the NFL.
It's
called
here.
the NFL.
Well, wherever I can go, man, I'm out of here. I am not taking one more. I'm not playing one more freaking game with these clowns if they're not going to throw me the ball. I mean, the guy is instant offense, and we don't give him the ball. I would find all kinds of creative ways to give him the ball. How about some jet sweeps? How about some bubble screens? How about we just put him back there and let him go ahead and take the ball and maybe do something with it? Hey, Luther, whatever you want to do with it. Brady Cook's over here. He's hurt. This guy over here, his name is Pine. He needs to be riding it. This guy's name is Blood. He gets his ass kicked. He's probably bleeding. Go do something. Do something for us. There's nothing happening with the offense. I would not come back. I'm going to the NFL or I'm going to another program. See, I want to make my draft stock go higher. I go somewhere else.
How many more regular season games do we have left? 4?
This is his last year anyway. But he's going to play him out.
Well, this is what I said a couple weeks ago. I think it was after the A&M loss, was if you are Burden, or if you are a top, you're this lotto guy and you're on a bad team, do you sit out? And then you all were like, no, you play the game. Now you're like, why do I want to risk it?
I just said he will play them all out.
No. I know.
I just said he'll play them all out, and he should play them all out.
He's only got 450 yards receiving this year. How the hell is that even possible?
There's a redshirt quarterback that incoming freshman redshirt quarterback that I think was Arkansas's Gatorade Player of the Year that they were redshirting this year. There's a real part of me that if he's only got 4 games left, play him in these 4 games. He'll keep his red shirt because it's 4 games. The Glazer kid, I think, is his name or something like that. Let him play. See what he's got.
You're saying QB or wide receiver?
QB, the QB. Austin
QB.
Glazer or something like that, I think.
Well, you got him, and then you got
somebody else.
You got the dude from Pennsylvania coming in. I mean, I know he's a high school kid, but he broke his foot. But it's like, if you're him, are you thinking, I don't know.
I don't know if I trust Drink going to get a portal QB. What that would look like, because I think that's really what they're going to need next year is a portal QB for at least a year.
I'm going to say this. Why can't you go and get a dual threat dude? Like, how hard is it to get a dual threat guy that just go ahead and say, we're going to run more than we're going to pass? And again, like Chris said, let's go some bubble routes. Let's go some tunnel screens. Let's go some hitches. Let's go some post curl. Like, again, drags, things like that across the field, like mid-low and mid-level. Like, why can't we find a guy that can do that?
Well, the problem we've got is I think we've got some. It's we've said it before, and Zach, you've said it for a while. It's route tree selection. You've got. It's the how they're using the quarterback. I think Brady Cook is a dual threat guy. He's athletic enough to do it. They just stopped using his legs. They stopped using him in the run game.
He stopped
last year. They used him in the run game,
right? Heck, but he, again, as much hype as he had, you talk about a flash in the pan and a guy that just fizzled out. He didn't look like he wanted to run to this year. I mean, from day one, I'm tippy-toeing. I'm not going to put my head down. Like, I don't know if somebody said, hey, don't get hurt, you're going to get drafted, or like, I don't know what got in his ear. Somebody got in his ear.
It's Drink going, don't get hurt. We don't have crap behind you to play.
Again, I don't know. It's the St. Louis area. You can't find a dual threat QB. You can't convert a receiver to a dude that's the dual threat. Kansas City, Springfield. You can't find one dude in the state of Missouri that can run and throw. Come on now. Go up.
I don't
go
know.
Up,
Hey,
throw,
go find somebody who can run and catch and throw. Right now, he should be playing for the Yankees. Holy cow. It's tie game.
Yeah.
Yep. Well,
Unfreaking
not
real.
even it's not even has to be in the state of Missouri, Zach. It's an SEC school anywhere in the country. So,
I mean, just go up to what's where you got all the private schools in one area in St. Louis. Just throw a stone, and you're going to find some dude that can.
Yeah, if he's any good, he's going to other places. He's going to actual real programs to know how to recruit and get guys. You know, LSU. Ohio State. Yeah, you know what? Right now, I would rather go to Ohio State than Mizzou the way that they're playing, and I'm a Mizzou fan.
Wingo,
you're being
Texas
ridiculous.
I
don't care. I'm just telling you, facts are facts.
Are those
you know
depressants?
Go watch the game. Go watch the game. I don't know. Did you watch it? They looked like dog crap.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on, man. Your backups in there. That's great. What do they do against A&M? They look like dog crap. Just saying.
Hey, again, they haven't looked good all year. Well, they haven't
Chris,
looked good.
Would you rather watch
year.
soccer?
Then watching the Zoo? Am I watching the Championship League or am I watching the Premier League?
Ted Lasso.
MLS. We'll go with that. Yeah.
MLS is a joke. Next question.
All right. Listen.
So,
yes,
you're that Mizzou fan that doesn't realize that they freaking overachieved last year.
Oh, I know they overachieved. I had a lot of hopes though. Thought, nah, this is gonna be different. This is gonna be different.
I had high hopes too, but I'm not gonna say, "Oh, screw them all, screw drink, screw them all."
Well, wait a minute. Now, hey, you give the mulligan on the A&M game, even though you had a bye week. They looked like the most unprepared team ever. Then you have Alabama, and you know that Cook is hurt. You know that he's hurt, and he's going to give it a go.
And you have an Alabama team that's not an old Alabama. It's not the old Alabama.
Yeah. And your defense is playing its ass off, and your backups look like they've never done anything besides holding a clipboard. So
the kickers on game day, the kids that kick the field goal on game day, they looked better than what the backup QB did for
the
Mizzou.
Offenses looked bad all year. You have how many days of practice as a football coach do you have to try to make something work, make an adjustment? They haven't made any adjustments. They still look bad. They've played in those questionable games where you didn't pass the eye test. It kind of might come down to coaching at that point.
Yeah.
Drink's a great recruiter, but I'm kind of really wondering, is he a good coach? So, yeah, I have every right to ask that question. It's not just on, they lost one. That's it. Toss out the window. I'm done. Two, toss out the window. No. We've got a pattern that they've established of being mediocre with high expectations, with guys who should be playing a lot better than they are. So either those guys.
How do you figure they were 11-2 last year?
Okay,
they've lost 2 this year.
Okay, and you're telling me that they're going to go ahead and win 5 more? The way they're playing,
and that's where
the pattern. No, the pattern. I'm talking about where we are at this point.
I'm with you on where they are at this point.
So what's the problem?
Saying you act like they should have just came out and won 12 games. No, that's not how it works in the SEC.
Okay, then you should be a lot more competitive than getting your ass pummeled by A&M and then Alabama.
That's a different story, and I think you're correct there. But I'm also going to say we've lived, as Mizzou fans, we've lived through a whole era where like all we want to do is just get to bowl games, and they weren't. And now they're getting to bowl games. They're being successful. They're winning way more than they're losing the last few years. And I'm not saying we just need to be happy with that, but we have to keep that in perspective as Mizzou fans and say, damn it could be way worse.
Then as somebody who watches the games and then somebody who's a Mizzou fan and as a pundit and who questions this stuff, I sure as hell have every right to question whether Drink does a good job as a coach.
You're not
as
wrong.
A coach.
I'm with you there. Yes.
And it's not because it's one game. It's not because of 2 games. They are, 6-2. We're 8 games in. You've only beat the piss out of a bunch of nobodies. Buffalo, who cares? Your easy games, your exhibition, your old Appalachian State, no pun there. But hey, you play the real schools, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, Vanderbilt's better than what we thought, obviously, but you're not doing anything against the guys that you should be compete.
All right,
Please compete with.
He's 34-23 at Mizzou, and 19-19 in the SEC. Okay,
then make an adjustment.
Okay, but here's
make
the
an
thing.
Adjustment.
Here's the thing. You're talking always better than Vandy, always better than Arkansas, has been better lately than Auburn, has been better lately than Kentucky. You know what I mean? So
Mississippi State, yes.
Mississippi State is bottom of the barrel. Like if you're not in the SEC, if you're in the Big 10, if you're in the Big 12, if you're in the defunct Pac-12, they're
still a
top
Pac-12.
third. Okay, I mean, again, they're probably top third. I mean, top.
Okay,
3,
then go play in the Mountain West.
Yeah,
all right, we're
I'm
in
not
the
saying
SEC,
that. I'm
man.
saying and so is Mississippi State. You don't think you think Mississippi State would love to be 34-23 in the last several years? Darn right they would be.
Ryan Day is 6-1, and everybody wants his damn job because he's coaching at Ohio State.
I say it's apples and oranges.
Okay, you cannot compare us
That's
to
apples
Ohio
and
State.
oranges.
You can't.
No, it's.
All right, whatever.
I understand what Chris is saying, though, in the sense that, in the sense that we had higher hopes based on last year, and they have not passed the eye test. And there is the right, we do have the ability as fans of Mizzou, and the fact that Mizzou is the program that it is in the SEC, is for us to look in and go, why haven't they progressed from last year? Because they haven't. But I still like seeing them win way more than they lose. But man, do I love them to win 35-4 or 35-3 rather than 20-17.
Okay, I'll say this. I won't say another freaking word about drink and whatever these adjustments. If they want to win by 1 and they want to just go ahead and keep doing that with these close games, if they continue to go and play schools that they should at least compete with and they get their asses handed to them and blown out, at the end of the season, I am going to go on an absolute freaking tirade because that's just the way it is. Okay, if you're going to lose a close one. Stop thinking. Coach Rhodes, whatever. All right, I'm using Ryan Day as an example because everybody says how shitty of a coach he is. The guy has an impeccable record, but he's coaching at Ohio State. He can't beat Michigan. He'll beat him this year. Hell, everybody else is. My point is you're in the SEC. You have to, the trajectory, the expectation is you got to go up. They showed us last year. I know they overachieved last year, but they also should be playing better with the guys they had coming back on the offensive side. We all sit here and go, well, the defense might be bad. The defense is what's winning them games. They won't give the ball to Burden enough. They won't give him the ball in space or where he can go yards after catch. That's why he's averaging 11 yards per catch. And he's the fourth or fifth highest. He has the fourth or fifth most receptions in the SEC. And the guy who's ahead has double the amount of yardage than he does because we aren't throwing the ball down the field. We can't get him the ball in space. Something's wrong there. What adjustments? Watch the game. What adjustment? What adjustment from, man, A&M kicked the piss out of us. All right, what are we doing now different here? The defense made the adjustment. Defense has played so much better. Offense still looks like dog crap. Well, okay? I won't say another word about it. I don't. Fine. That's fine. I'm going to sit there. I'll do what Jim does and not say a damn thing about him because, oh, no, I'm a Mizzou fan, whatever, because that's just the way it is. I'm not saying nothing. I'm telling you, if he can't make adjustments, they keep getting their ass handed to him, rest assured, it'll be an expletive-ridden more than what you think right now.
Mizzou was not forced to make adjustments after the loss to Texas A&M because they played UMass. after that. There really was not going to make adjustments to do that, and then barely beat a really bad, I say, Auburn team the following week by like 4. The real test is you have to eat and chew on this ass kicking that they've gotten for 2 weeks before going to play Oklahoma. How are they going to chew on that, and what is that going to look like a week from Saturday when the Sooners, who haven't been very good this year offensively,
they're 4-4,
but their defense is what's winning them games at 4-4. Their offense has just been awful. So it's going to be a very similar style. Which offense is the one that decides they actually are going to come to play? We'll decide that. And are there adjustments made? Are there going to be crossing routes to pair with the vertical routes? Zach has talked ad nauseum about that the last few weeks, about there's no creativity and variation in route coverage and route trees for plays. So it'll be interesting to see what they do to adjust to that.
I'm sure they'll be awesome.
I mean, again, you go back. Do you want to go back to Odom? I mean, Odom was 25-25, 13-19 in the conference. He finished 7th. Now, again, 3rd, 4th. I mean, Drake within the conference has been about tied. He was 3rd, tied for 4th, and last year's 2nd. I'm guessing they're doing away with the East and West divisions, and now
there's no more East and West.
It's just just your record.
This is what Drink's 5th or 6th year at Mizzou.
This is his fifth year. One of them being COVID.
Okay, well then, let's essentially say 4th. It really, but what was Pinkel's first 4 years? Can you look that up?
I'll look it up. You guys keep talking.
Pinkel's first 4 years. Because I'd like to compare, because I think Pinkel didn't have a very good first 4 years, and he was having his head called for. But he also at some point wasn't 11-2 in playing in a New Year's Day bowl in his first 4 years, and then regressing after that. He had a slow build into it, and they stuck with him, and he finally figured it out. Could there be a similar trajectory here with that, or is this going to be a different trajectory?
He was 4-7, 5-7, 8-5, 5-6, 7-5, 8-5, and then boom, 07, 08, 12-2, 10-4, and then 8-5, 10-3, 8-5. So I mean, it took him a while, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 years to really kind of go on the scene. And again, what did he have? He had a quarterback. You know what I mean? Oh, and then on top of that, what did the quarterback have? He had his security blanket in one of the arguably one of the best, if not the best, tight ends in college football at the time. So I mean, I mean it's okay, Chris. When you say great recruiter,
Drake.
Go ahead.
Drake is 40-22 as a head coach.
At Mizzou or no overall?
No. 40-22 as a head coach, and 28-21 as at Missouri. I mean, dude, I'm a Mizzou fan. I've lived through a lot worse than this.
Bob Stoll.
I mean, 28-21 is not
34-23. Yeah.
What?
34-23 is the record at Mizzou,
including this year. Yeah,
including this year. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So 34-23. I'll take that. I'll take it.
Yep.
Now, here's the kicker, though, right? The 11-2 record is kind of masking because it was 5-5, 6-7, 6-7, and now 11-2, 6-2. So we'll see where they end up.
A little bit.
I mean,
it's similar to what Gary Pinkel's first 3 years at Mizzou would be.
So we want to say it's a drink problem.
Here's why though, Jason, is because it is year 5 or whatever. Like every guy that's on the roster is his guys. So it's no longer Odom's dudes. Okay, unless they're, I guess, like Chris always says, they're in their COVID 15th year or something. But like they're all his guys, so he either recruited them as freshmen or they've got come over in the transfer portal. And I think that's where Chris is frustrated and saying, "Okay, if you're supposed to be this great recruiter, now they've got to go out and perform. So are you a great recruiter, or are you just a good showman?" And saying like just because they have a lot of stars attached to their name, they're not performing, i.e. St. Louis Cardinals. I don't know.
I will say, and Zach brought something, it made me think about something, and there is a very big difference between the way Drink handled his first few years and Pinkel did. Drink is a beat his own chest, bang on the desk. I did this. We went and got this. This is big. We're doing all. And Pinkel wasn't that way. He just brought guys in, and then they just went and coached football. So there's a very different process to looking at this.
Yeah, but it's a lot different fucking era than it was back then.
Yeah, you're wrong. You're right. So
it's a way different era, Pinkel versus this.
But I said it though. I said I'm fine with.
I'm only alluding to how they are acting. That's all I'm.
Yeah, I think this year he's what he changed. I'm perfectly fine with Drake being that guy that wants to be the Steve Spurrier type and wants to get the quips in. Like that dude was not playing with pressure. That guy was like, I'm going to build this program. He looked freer. And I said this last time I was on the show. He looks like he has cracked, and that 11-2 season is like, hey, there's expectations on you. And it's like, I'm no longer who I am. I'm not coaching how I am, how I used to be, maybe how I'm acting with the guys. I mean, you saw him jaw-jacking with the dude from Bama, and he said, hey, he kind of quoted as like, well, if I had my starting quarterback, what do you mean? You had him for the first half, he didn't do anything. So, like, it just seems like he's different than what he had been in his previous years here.
Well, maybe if he, if he's got under that much pressure, he should go back to Appalachian State. Florida would be a better job. He'll make more money.
Pull the Chip Kelly and just be an OC again.
God, I never thought I'd feel about Chris like I do about Jim, but right now it's about.
I don't care. I really could care less.
Mizzou basketball. All right, David. What about Mizzou basketball? Are they going to have a turnaround?
No, hey,
we got a little bit of time.
Did you guys, on a local note, did you guys even remotely talk about what 101 ESPN pulled?
No, you said you wanted to be on for that.
I thought you guys want to talk about it. I thought.
Well, we were going to hold.
Well, we did, but we didn't want to.
When you were on,
we wanted Chris Miller to be there.
Oh, sorry. Whatever.
You're on it. Go ahead. Do your timeout tirade.
Yeah.
No, we're on it. Let's do it. It's fresh. Let's do it.
Okay. I'm just saying it's local. I mean, two people watching for Mizzou basketball.
Tell me.
So, hey, if you didn't notice, 101 ESPN has a new morning show. It's garbage. Okay. All of a sudden,
how many shows have you listened to?
I've listened to it before because it's a show that's actually brought in. I don't even know what.
Dude, I can't listen to Martin Kilcorn.
Wasn't that on?
Oh my God,
like 550 or something?
Yeah, it was on another station or something, but the same station owned it. So what they did was Randy Carricker, Dan McLaughlin, Brooke Grimsley, and even Matthew Rocchio, the producer. They canned them in the whole opening drive show and brought in the morning after podcast and added Tim McKernan to it. Well, I've listened to the Balloon Party of Tim McKernan. I'm not saying it's a bad show. I can deal with it for the amount of time that it's actually on, which is an hour. But you got rid of somebody they just put in the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame and Randy Carricker, who people love Randy in St. Louis. Randy fought for the St. Louis Rams during the lawsuit for St. Louis against the Rams.
Yep.
He's been a part of St. Louis radio for years. He is a fixture. And you got rid of him for a show that they don't even freaking talk enough sports.
What's the
not
rationale? Do you know why? Like, what's the why they
hip
can
and
the show?
trendy, I guess, like everything else, like a damn pitch clock.
Well,
I
you
don't
mean
know.
why they
So
made
it wasn't
the change?
it wasn't a money issue. It wasn't like the
Oh, it was a money issue.
I think it was a money issue with Carricker.
The radio stations don't make a whole lot of money anymore, and Carricker got paid a ton of money.
Yep.
Well, they do a lot of this stuff like sponsorship. It's probably a good idea to go out there and get some. And if you have somebody like Randy Carricker,
sponsorships,
yeah, it helps. If you get like guys like Randy Carricker, who people love Randy, it's probably a pretty good idea to have something popular for folks to listen to. Instead,
so if he's free, does he want to come on our show?
I mean, he's got some time. I saw on Twitter he actually
post that today.
Had some time, went out and voted. Like, yeah. I'm pretty sure too that 101 ESPN has went through and deleted all of their Twitter replies to their posts, because I'm actually trying to look it up. And people, actually, they missed one. Thanks. They said something about the Blues. Time for puck drop when they played the Senators and lost like 11 billion to 2.
That was bad.
Someone said, "Thanks. The Blues suck now because you guys fired Randy." I mean, it's not going away anytime soon. I mean, this is look from someone who's I listen to 101 ESPN religiously. It is the first station on.
As soon as I get in my car, dude,
I'll listen to the Fast Lane. I'll listen to BK and Ferrario when school gets out. I will not, and on principle for just this, I will not listen to their morning show.
I listened to it just so I could get a kind of.
Oh, how'd you feel about it? Was it great?
I like Randy.
I mean, they have literally went through and deleted. I was reading these the other day, and
people are
relentless.
Not happy.
So yeah, they went up and cleaned their Twitter feed up. What?
I guess I'm just
they
lost.
Fired people, and they're not there anymore, Zach.
Well, I get that, but like again, I don't understand.
No notice, nothing.
I don't understand
the
why.
Gone.
Like
because they wanted to.
And not only
there's probably more to this story in some fashion.
Like, did somebody do an oopsie? You know what I mean? Like when 105.7 they had the guy they let go. He kind of had an oopsie. Like, was there something there?
No,
I mean, it's like
he was messing with girl. Like, yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Was there an oopsie somewhere, or is it like we don't want to pay you anymore?
They got rid of DWI Dan, and they got rid of the whole show.
I know, but I just don't understand why. Like, hey, if we're number one or we're ratings and you're making money, then why are we letting you? Unless they weren't making money, or if Randy made some like outrageous, hey, pay me this money. I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
No.
What's the why?
There wasn't no take like you're like. There wasn't nothing dirty. Like
so
there's nothing dirty, but I wonder if at some point, being as popular a morning show as it was, did they at some point go in and request something from management? They wanted more. They wanted more time, a little bit more money, or something like that. And this is how the radio station responded. That's where maybe that happened. I don't know.
You're popular. We can respectfully decline your request, or we just fire you. So one of the posts on Facebook from their 101 ESPN is, who's to blame for the Blues' recent struggles? An hour ago, someone commented 101 ESPN for their business decisions and disrespect to the fan base. I mean, it's just, they've cleaned it all up. I mean, it was pretty bad. They, the morning after this morning had a picture of the guy taking the ball out of Mookie Betts' glove, and then what they were going to talk about. And someone says, why would anyone listen? I literally drive around in silence now from 7 to 11. Thanks a lot. I mean, these are They were great, and
I guess it's a good thing Chris is in the classroom now, because then he would just be in silence from 7 to 11.
They didn't clean this one up. There's 42 comments. Is it going to make me puke just like McKernan does on a daily basis? Bring back Randy. McKernan and TMA is the worst radio in St. Louis. It was the 1 hour I tuned 101 off. Now I'll be tuned off my dial half the day. # bring Randy back. Bring back Randy. Keep up the good work. At this rate, you'll be unappealing to all 5 senses in no time. Let's see. Someone actually did like it, and then everybody laughed at him. Let's see. Trying to find a couple of good ones here.
If you were Carricker, would you go back to that station, or would you try to leverage this into some other station?
I go somewhere else.
Do his own podcast.
Either that, or I go work for do KMOX and my own podcast.
Well,
he used to work for KMOX.
They were talking about if they just went off and did a podcast. I mean, dude, Danny Mac is good to listen to. Randy, I will say, rubs me the wrong way sometimes, but I like him as a guy on the radio. I think it was money. I do. I think it was money.
Well,
but when you're free like us and we produce our own show, it's all free. I mean, you guys can watch this crap anytime you want.
Yep, on replay. All right, you guys can finish up the show with whatever you want. I am taking off for the night. Just wanted to jump on and say hi, everybody. And, yeah, I'm going to go take some pain meds and go to bed. So
and pain meds are good. Good stuff.
Well, we're running close to the end of our show anyway, so we're going to man, not even a bye. Just see you later.
Just peace out,
Dude,
we just gave you know what? No, here's how we're gonna say it. We're spin this. We gave him the Randy Carricker treatment and just fired him.
He was kind of sour.
Assignment.
Put him on. He's hanging out shooting next week.
Yeah. So, well, you guys got anything else you want to add for the week?
No,
Jarvis, we won't see you until
Mizzou basketball plays next week. So, yeah,
my brother says I think Mizzou basketball will be a lot better this year. Well, I hope.
Can't be any worse.
I should say it can't be much worse, right?
3 wins last year. I mean, I've been there my first year at Hergy. That was brutal.
So, well, I think, Jarvis, I hope you have a good start to your first
thank
couple
you.
of days of
I'm
season.
excited. I just wanted to be here, and I know we got to play a football game, and we possibly pull up an upset and beat St. John, and then we'll play another week. But it's got to be a major. We're gonna have to play a pretty good game to beat St. John. So,
yeah, I think they're starting to click a little bit.
Yeah,
Zach, I hope you your first week of junior high basketball went well, and there was lots of lot less complaining than high school basketball.
Give it time, right? We haven't started games yet. We'll see.
I was gonna say there's complaining at every level.
Give it time. No, but it's been fun, and it's again kind of refreshing. But Kevin, hoping you get some downtime to rest and relax, and before it picks up for you.
Basketball practice here starts in a couple of weeks, so that'll go.
There you go.
Peace out on the. We're out. Let's go. Yeah. We're done.
We're gonna end on that one. Thanks, Jason.
We're done. Hey, thanks for everybody tuning in for the free. Bye.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.
Hey, let's watch this game.
This episode of the Coach's Box Call It Like We See It podcast is brought to you by Off the Rails Media. Life's more fun when you're off the rails.